my job is, at that point, is to just translate it and make sure that everything is clear and comes out, very as clearly as it can. And if I have a question about something, I will do a little meditation and see if this is the right way to go or that's the right way to go. But most of the time, it feels pretty organic, of the way that those things come through. So then when I send it to people, they get to have their experience. And another interesting thing that I will add to that is that, I've been talking with William for many, many years, and Dr. Peebles, and I have a collection of tapes. I always made a cassette tape, and I have translated, some of them into my iPhone so that I can just go and listen to one. Because the thing about spirit communication is that they're not in time. There's no past, future. They're always in the present moment. So when that energy comes through and they're talking to me, if Dr. Peebles is talking to me. So in my mind, this happened in 1980 something or, whatever it was. And yet I can hear something in a way that I didn't hear it at that moment, at that time, because of where I am now. But that energy feels as fresh as it did when he said it the first time. So that energy, that even though it's a tape that's 20, 30 years old, the spirit energy is still quite active and alive and present. It's still fresh. Even if those words have been said before, when I tune into it, I can feel Dr. Peebles, the Dr. Peebles, collective. I can feel the intent behind the message, and so it's always in the present moment if I allow myself to be in the present moment. So I'm not thinking about the past. I allow myself to have the experience of it in this moment. And so with this channeled music, when people get this music, it's best to listen to it as an energetic event. In other words, that you're not thinking about the melody or trying to identify an instrument or anything like that. You just pay attention to your body, for instance.
Excellent.
You notice your breathing. You see what's happening in my belly right now. I got an interesting feeling on the back of my neck. I got it, and just to even notice that. And at the same time, there's something going on a cellular level that I certainly can't explain that part of it. It's just something that makes that transformative shift for people, to allow them to energize something in their life, something they wish to energize or enliven or break through or move or heal. And so I've got 3 albums worth of that stuff, that music, and always, I mention and ask if it's okay to use this music at some point, for an album, even though it's their personal thing. I've noticed that sometimes the things that are the most personal happen to be the most universal. When somebody shares a really personal story, how many people can relate to that, even if they haven't had that same exact experience? There's a shared belly, I call it, that we have when we're listening to something like that. So this music is kind of like that. So no matter how many times you listen to it, it's always going to be fresh if you remain in the moment and stay open and present.
Such a metaphor for living your life, because your life is a melody. Your life is the music. Your flow is the music. Just kind of saying that. So listening to your process reminds me of like a creative muse, when things come down to be written or to be spoken or to be dressed in a certain way. All of us have that, but we just don't tend to pay attention or nurture that.
True.
Yeah, because we've been entrained to believe that doesn't matter, and that is the matter. That is the focus. That is the purpose. So it is so important for people to really be their own artists, and you exemplify that, Kevin. And it doesn't. We were talking about that on the way. It doesn't matter if you do it professionally as you do. Everybody has their own inner artist, and they see things through a lens that's kind of crystal clear for them. When you're in the present moment, when you're in the now, and you get out of the intellect and let that heart flow.
And I think that our educational system needs to reflect that.
Yeah.
Some people are kinesthetic. Some people are verbal mental. Some people have, the kid in the room who can't sit still should be moving.
Should be moving.
They should be. They should be moving. They should get involved and dance. They should be in the back of the room dancing while the teacher is teaching. There's
that's wonderful.
To be able to honor how people are able to process information. I know William used to get very angry at me sometimes during our sessions because he'd be saying something and I'm now like watching the movie of what he's saying. I'm seeing this whole visual thing, and all of a sudden he'd shout, "Are you listening to me?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just watching the movie." "Oh, okay."
I'm listening in my way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole, because usually the things that William is saying in his session are just, they're powerful. I mean, they're really, they would affect me. I mean, I could just listen to William talk, when he's tuned in that way, even before Dr. Peebles comes through, because there's just it's so rich that I'm processing it on a number of different levels. And he's just looking at this guy over here with his eyes glazing over and thinking, "Where did you go?"
Yeah.
But all of it went in, William. Just want to let you know.
Oh, I know. I've known. You didn't mention, but you've done a lot of channeling of Dr. Peebles yourself.
Yes, I have.
For many years.